Hi everyone. I've seen something that I believe I need to share with you all. No sooner did I post that video yesterday about the 4B movement that I found something. So I'm going to share this video with you really quick and then I'll be back on the other end with my commentary.
I just left a lie. The men trying to start a 4G movement, possibly not having doing it.
So there was this live recently on TikTok where men started discussing the creation of a 4G movement in response to the 4B movement that I literally made a video about yesterday. All I have to say to that is, well, that was quick. So as we know, the 4B movement started in South Korea and is a refusal for women to have heterosexual marriage, childbirth, and romantic and sexual relationships with men. It's part of women demanding agency, autonomy, and being treated with dignity and respect instead of being utilized for our labor and childbearing. Well, now the men are creating their own movement called 4G. It means no sex with women, no marriage with women, no dating with women, and no babies. So feminists, I hope you're happy. The men's have decided to stop trying to sleep with us and give us babies. The most precious gifts they can give us. They're just gonna leave us alone now and do their own thing. Can you believe this? I mean, whatever shall we do now? No more single moms, no high body count, and no more masculine women to deal with. I love how these XYs think the 4B movement is a negotiation tactic to get men to act right when it's literally women just saying that they no longer have any interest in dealing with men in any capacity. And even though I think that we all should support this male movement wholeheartedly, it's definitely giving you can't fire me because I quit vibes. Either way, it perfectly aligns with the 4B movement and I support it. Notice that as soon as women come up with a movement to protect themselves from what is statistically proven as a natural predator, with hundreds of proven statistics that that is exactly the case, XYs will immediately try to start and counter it. And I started noticing this phenomenon when we started to have discussions about women being married single moms. As soon as we started to have these discussions about relationships being more equitable, and started to call out things such as weaponized incompetence, that we started getting all of these articles about single lonely men. And what's ironic about this is that it's almost identical to how opponents of movements such as Black Lives Matter countered with things like Blue Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. With 4B comes 4G. There is nothing that these counter movements have that is uniquely theirs. But I guess that's the nature of oppressors, isn't it? They have nothing unique outside of their rage and violence that is naturally their own. So they have to co-opt the terminology and language of people who participate in movements that actually mean something. Another good way to spot these is that these movements typically don't have their own points of purpose. They just choose the opposite points of whatever cause they are trying to counter. These people tend to not have any original thoughts in their head. If a man doesn't appreciate a woman and does not see value in women, he should 100% decide to be part of the 4G movement. Now, as I've said before, we don't hate men, we hate the patriarchy, and some of the online responses to the 4G movement from men have been amazing, and I'm going to share one with you at the end of this video. But the comments were amazing. Under one video, someone said, "Is this their attempt at reverse psychology?" In another, people have been asking if they have a GoFundMe that we can all donate to. But in conclusion, I think that we should all support the 4G movement 100%. Because somehow, in all of this chaos, we've circled back to the point. Thank you all for tuning in. This is day 2 of me trying to get my YouTube mojo back. Please like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. Moving on to day 3.
Brothers, you're not doing the 4G movement because you recognize where men have gone wrong. You're not recognizing that, maybe there's some improvement that men need to work on before we start to bring women and children into our lives. We're not starting a 4G movement because we have finally discovered that men need a lot of work, that we need to definitely take a mental health break before we start having these circular conversations and we start trying to provide and protect, because we can't even provide and protect ourselves. We haven't recognized all of the things that make dating and life difficult for us and how we can make self-improvements to make life easier for ourselves, to rely on ourselves, to not place our worth in society on the type of women that we're dating. We're not doing it. We're doing this so that we can make women pay for starting a 4B movement. Now, the women that started a 4B movement because they are tired of being victims of patriarchy and misogynoir and all of the other things that make life as a woman damn near impossible. We are not doing it. We want to make women pay. And that is the reason why the 4B movement and Me Too and all the other movements exist. Because men, we don't take accountability for shit. Now, a lot of you motherfuckers are angry because you're not having sex. Even the leader of the Red Pill, whatever that goofy motherfucker name is, the white guy that's a professor, he himself admitted that all of you motherfuckers are upset because you are lacking intimacy in your life. You're not having sex. So now you're going to start a movement that you know goddamn well you ain't going to be able to uphold. Which means that you're actually going to be giving men advice that doesn't apply in the real world. See, I do not expect people to be who they are online in real life. Social media is a place for human beings to invest in their avatar, right? Janet Jackson, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, on stage, on music videos, at a public appearance, they're one person, but then when they're home and are comforted around their family and those that they love, they're totally different people. And that's okay. That's acceptable because it's entertainment. Social media is the same thing. Entertainment. Like your avatar online, I do not expect who you are online to directly reflect who you are in real life. What I do not support is when we have our online avatar giving life lessons and advice that you know goddamn well cannot be applied in the real world. What I have a problem with is when you do this. When you give men, young black men or older black men, advice that you know goddamn well cannot be applied into the real world. And you're sending them out there to be broken or rebroken so they can come back and you give them some more advice and they go back out and get broken some more. We have no leadership. We're waiting for the women to be the vanguards. Can we just admit that now with this? Just admit it. Because now you guys are acting like women are oppressing you. You don't want them to be 304s, but you don't want them to withhold sex. You want them to choose better with the men they marry, but you don't want them to take their time and kind of like take a step back before they start getting married and making sure that the men that come into their space is actually who they say they are. You don't want women to have a bunch of babies out of wedlock, but when they say no more child rearing, you got a problem with it. I know what y'all want. And I think that y'all should actually host a live with P. Diddy. Because I think that's some of y'all, not all, but some of y'all, that's what y'all want. And you trying to convince us that the women are the problem when women aren't really your cup of tea. And that's okay. It's 2024 and everyone's out. Come out. But stop doing this shit, because this ain't it.